You have 5 minutes, Deputy.
Yeah, there's absolutely little doubt in my mind, or I think most people's minds, that Russia has committed war crimes and is committing war crimes in Ukraine. And any efforts to hold them to account, to bring out the truth of those war crimes, to prosecute them, to deliver justice for the people who are victims of those crimes should be pursued. So I think we absolutely have to do that. But I have to say I have very little faith in the International Criminal Court, because whenever they've been charged to look at these things before, in other similar instances, I think in most cases they failed, and failed pretty dramatically. So I don't see why we would trust them to do it. It's also interesting who's signed up to the ICC and who isn't. The United States isn't subscribed to the International Criminal Court because it doesn't want to be held accountable for its war crimes. At one point I think it is signed it, but then withdrew its signature and never ratified it. Israel did the same. So it's can't be investigated. Saudi, the United Arab Emirates refused to sign it. Russia and Ukraine signed it but never ratified it. Interesting. So many of the countries, including two of the countries directly involved in this, never wanted to ratify the International Criminal Court. So there's a problem, isn't there? If we're serious about, because the whole thing about war crimes and crimes against humanity is that they are any war crimes. They're not just war crimes in a particular place at a particular time that we decide we're going to investigate. The whole idea is a war crime is a war crime, no matter where it's committed. And a crime against humanity, well, the clue is in the name. It's a crime against any member of humanity that falls within the definition of a crime against humanity. But it just seems we have great enthusiasm now, all of a sudden, to pursue the war crimes and crimes against humanity that are undoubtedly being committed by Vladimir Putin in his bloody and inexcusable war. But many of the people who are denouncing the crimes against humanity and the war crimes themselves do not want to be subject to this court, and have avoided doing it because they might be themselves found guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Now, is anybody going to call out this hypocrisy? Because I don't see what credibility the International Criminal Court has if it's selective in this regard. I mean, if Putin's war against Ukraine is a war crime and a crime against humanity, the US-UK war in Iraq is definitely a crime against humanity. A war based on a pack of lies, 1 million people directly and indirectly killed, the absolute horror of Fallujah, to name just one terrible example, of Abu Ghraib, the torture in Abu Ghraib. What did the ICC do? Had a preliminary investigation into possible war crimes committed. They couldn't investigate the US because, as I said, the US aren't signed. Preliminary investigation into the UK closed down in 2006. No prosecution. Some new evidence provided later, had a look at that, closed it down in 2020. Israel has just been indicted by Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, and the UN Special Rapporteur on the Middle East for committing war crimes which come under the ambit of the International Criminal Court as matters they should pursue. Where's all the announcements that's going to happen? None. No announcement about the fact that they are being accused by the UN Special Rapporteur and two of the most respected human rights organisations in the world against ongoing, 70 years long crimes against humanity. The siege of Gaza and so on. No investigation. No clamour for prosecution of the war crimes. So I don't have much credibility in this. If we are serious about stopping war crimes, crimes against humanity, we have to be calling them all out. We have to be demanding investigations of them all, not just the ones where it happens to suit the geopolitical or geostrategic interests of the European Union or this or that power, the United States or whatever else. And we have to call out those countries who don't wish to be accountable for crimes against humanity, which include many of Europe's allies.